folks, and welcome back to Glenn and Adrian's Rock Talk. That's Adrian.
And that's Glenn.
And today we return to Rush with an early video that we have not yet seen, although we did see another video from the same time period, probably the same day. We're going to look at Fly By Night today, the official music video. And I think in the past we saw Anthem, and that was done right at the same time, on the same stage and everything. So we'll have an idea of what it's going to look like anyway. But I haven't seen this clip. I'm not even sure if it's going to be live or lip-synced. Adrian, do you have any thoughts ahead?
Not really, just looking forward to seeing this. I haven't seen, there are a lot of Rush songs I haven't seen videos to.
Well, I'm not sure how many there are left that we haven't seen already, but, in terms of the music videos, there's probably a few. But anyway, this looks promising. Why don't we go ahead and take a look at it?
All right. Vintage Rush, for sure. I don't know how this will sound, but I might also call it Rush Light only because this seems very accessible to the masses for a Rush song. But at this time, they were getting their act together and kind of shaking the bugs out of their act, I imagine. So this was their second album and their first with Neil. And of course, this is, what would become one of the biggest prog bands that existed. All that said, it's a very catchy song with a riff that's extremely easy to remember. And that's what a beginning band needs. And also, they named the album after this song, so how can you forget? songs like this. It allowed other awesome songs to be put on the record, like Bytor and the Snow Dog is a favorite of mine, for example.
Yeah, sure. Well, it's a funny thing, you know, they're all so young. That was the first thing that caught my attention looking at this thing. They've just met. And so this is the beginning of their long journey as a band. And they are so clearly young. They're all about 22 years old in this clip, if that. You know, they might actually be 21 years old. They're young. And so it's interesting to see them working together on that. I believe that that was the studio track because it sounded like Geddy's vocals were doubled, which they are in the studio track. And there's no obvious way to do that live, you know, especially back in 1975. So that's okay. I mean, I did notice that Neil was very deliberate about making sure he was playing his parts properly and that they were landing where they were supposed to so that it looked like it was a live performance.
Did you notice the size of his kit? It was pretty small in this song.
Yeah, at the time, he did not have a large kit. I remember he had a very small car when they met the band, and he had to get the whole thing in there, and they were amazed that he did for what he brought with him, you know, to fit. It was a little vehicle, a really small one. I don't know what model, but it was a compact, you know. So yeah. I think he had 2 jazz bass drums at one point, which are smaller than your average bass drum. I mean, if you look at this, you can see.
That is pretty big.
Well, but look at the bass drums.
Yeah.
Those are not big bass drums. Those are small bass drums. So that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 piece set.
Yeah, I didn't even realize he had that many drums when I was watching the video.
Well, I mean, he's kind of got them so that they're going backwards. He almost has to turn to use the other drums.
Yeah, I noticed.
Because it would be hard for him to actually make it to the last one, just from where he normally sits. It's really interesting to see them working at this point. And yeah, it does look like they've got fewer resources, a little less power. But they cranked out this song, which is pretty good. I would say, I'm not sure I would call it light necessarily, but I would say that it is not as complicated as most Rush songs. Now, they hadn't gotten all that complex yet. That started after Neil came along. That started with things like Bytor. But this was possibly written before that. That may have just been where they were in their history at that point, in terms of being writers, composers, arrangers. Okay, well, anyway, very cool to look at that. I'm glad we did. We may have to take a look at some of the other just straggling music videos that we haven't seen, particularly for anything that we haven't actually watched yet. And of course, finding stuff early would be great, but really any time would be good. So folks, if you have suggestions for us, leave those below. Why don't you let us know what you thought of this video, if there's anything that stuck out for you, any revelations, anything like that. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you enjoyed our presentation, please subscribe. All right, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll catch you on the next one. All right, take care, folks.
See y'all later.